All right, guys. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. The Paladins are coming off of a 16-8 homecoming victory over ETSU, running their winning streak to 6 in a row. And the new polls out today, both the coaches poll and the media poll, Furman has moved up to number 2 in each of those polls, the highest ranking the Paladins have held in the regular season since 2005. This coming Saturday, we go on the road to Chattanooga. We'll talk more about the broadcast for that game coming up in a bit. Joining Coach Hendricks at the table today are Tyler Huff and Xavier Stevens. We'll ask Coach to make an opening statement as we always do, and I'll let Tom Van Hoy ask the first question after that.
Well, again, appreciate you being here. Really happy to get tough Southern Conference win Saturday. I think, look at it defense. I thought we played really, really well defensively. I think probably if we'd like to call a few of those other picks that we had in our hands that really could have made a huge difference. But otherwise, other than that, I'm not sure they could have done a lot more than they did. Done a really good job last month, 3-4 weeks of eliminating some explosive plays, which is something we struggled with a little bit earlier in the year. But playing at a high level, certainly be challenged, much more so, especially this week, going forward, but really proud of that. Block punt, a little bit, something they had done had come, we've created a little better angle for them with some of the things we did with punter's alignment. Need to have a little more urgency getting the ball away. But certainly was something we don't want to do, and we'll continue to work on. And we've been pretty good in that area. I thought we kicked the ball really well. Ian Williams had a great day kicking. Now offensively, a little different story. Felt like I think first of all you got to give East Tennessee a bunch of credit because I think they did a great job of getting after us. Gave us a few little different things which we kind of see every week. But I just, I don't think we had a guy. I don't think we had a guy on offense play well. I think we ended up giving the player of the week to Jake Johanning, who moved out to play left tackle. Never played it in a game. Pearson, we didn't let Pearson go last week, but just didn't play very well. Didn't block well. Didn't break tackles. Didn't win contested balls. I mean, you just go down the. Go down the table. We didn't do anything very well offensively, and hopefully that can be good for us going forward. It's something we've certainly addressed at length with our guys yesterday, and we'll move on, and we have. And again, I don't know. I'm walking through the lobby out there yesterday, and you're trying to talk yourself off the cliff after how you played. You felt like offensively, and. I'm flashing to that 88 championship game, and the video's running, and all of a sudden the Chattanooga game comes up. And I'm sitting there thinking, I remember 3 things about that game. I remember about the weather guy delayed the game. I remember Pat Turner, I think in the first quarter, had a pick 6. And we had to stop them at the end of the game defensively. I think we won 10-7. That team won the national championship. I think that Chattanooga team was 4-7. And then I got reminded. Another friend reminded me about 2004. I don't remember this game. He was talking about an Elon game. We went up there. I think we were second, third in the country. Win 10-0. Really, really struggled. I even pulled it up and looked at it. And I think the next week we came and played Georgia Southern 2 versus 3, and maybe the best game ever in that stadium. That I've been a part of. So I don't know. I think each week's a little different. We got to learn from it. I still think our kids are playing hard doing that, but we got to play harder. We certainly got to be more physical, and certainly the execution level's got to pick up. And I don't think that'll be a problem this week. And playing outstanding Chattanooga, super super talented. There are around 40 transfers. I think double-digit Power 5 transfers. They are talented. I think the whole key for them has been. I think the question mark for them probably, as I looked at him coming the season, was the quarterback. And he certainly answered that. He's played really, really well It could certainly hurt you with your feet, throwing the football, development receiver, kind of going to a, more of a pass-first run where that's maybe a little different from their philosophy in the past. Still run it well, just really, really good everywhere. And then certainly outstanding defense. They've been that way, have a scheme they truly believe in, they're good at, and it'll take a huge task out of us to get it done this week. So, but with that, certainly open up any questions you may have.
Coach, on post-game on Saturday, you talked about you had a great week of preparation and maybe you didn't play as well as you wanted to. Is there a correlation with this team between the way you practice and the way you play?
I think it's a correlation with every team when you do that. Sometimes it doesn't get exposed. I think the word of the week this week, we talked about yesterday's urgency, just how we practice, how we plan, attention to detail. We had a few little moving parts. We're a little different last week, but I think you have a little bit of that every week. Feel really good about Pierce me back, practice yesterday. Jake, I think some people maybe don't realize how tough of a challenge that is to pop out there, play left tackle. He never played it in a game before, but I thought he handled that pretty well. I don't know, a little bit my mindset has been, let's win the war, and the war goes on for a little while, and some things you do, and, just maybe some things you do schematically, how you try to attack people. So, we certainly got to have a great week of practice and give them a good plan. And, again, their play is a direct reflection of me, and we got to do a better job of certainly getting our guys ready to go. And they're certainly willing and capable, and I think we're in pretty good shape health-wise. Tough stretch we've been in. I think maybe as tough a stretch as anybody's having to play against. I still kind of throw Sanford in there ranked opponents, three of the last 4 on the road. So I think we're ready for that. I know this Chattanooga group. I think this is 10 weeks in a row for them. And everybody's a little beat up this time of year. So, but certainly we'll get their best effort again, and I think they'll get ours too. So it ought to be a heck of a game.
Coach, it's interesting that last year, as it turns out, the conference championship was early October or whenever y'all played Sanford here. You're waiting all year to see if Sanford might lose and get a share of the title or whatever. And then we didn't know the results of Western Mercer when the game was over here the other day. Based on that result, now we have a de facto SoCon championship this Saturday. The winner is going to be the automatic bid to the – and obviously you have more goals after this, no matter what happens this Saturday, more stuff to do later on. But it just kind of is upon us now. Yeah. And can you speak to maybe versus, say, last year where you kind of hoping after that slip up here early in the season, being able to have the chance to go and earn it on the field this week?
Well, I told our team yesterday, the difference last year was we needed help. We had to do our part, but we needed help, and we finished great, and had need some people to give us a little help. Nobody could quite get it done, and credit Sanford for finishing the way they did. I think what's a little bit different, Chattanooga, this is it for them. It's a one game for them. I think they're by next week, and then they finish with Alabama. So in our case, certainly we got. It's kind of unusual. You're playing somebody, they're playing their last conference game, and we got 3 more conference games. But obviously, I made sure in our team meeting yesterday, I went over everything with our team. They know exactly where everything stands. So absolutely, that's the kind of games you want to play in, and again, ought to be a heck of an environment to go play, and still a lot of football out there before as we got going forward. But certainly this game certainly has huge implications.
Coach, I want to talk a little bit about the red zone. You're still in the 80%, keeping scores going on, and you're now holding the opponents to 68%. What's your thoughts on that, seeing that your defense is really stepping up in the red zone?
Well, our defense has. We did a better job later in the year with eliminating people getting in the red zone. We've been pretty solid there. Defensively, doing a good job. Certainly great to get the block the other day. Offensively, a little different. I think one of our biggest, thing that just stands out to me, the number of points we've left on the field the last couple of games. Even going back to Sanford, had a chance to really put some distance between some folks. How we started the game the other day, felt like the game should have been 14-0. It's a different game if you do that. So I think all those plays were kind of big, and we had a gimme block, on the punt. I mean, I don't know how we could have missed it, but we missed it. So you're just taking advantage of those opportunities you get, and we get it down there. I think after Colton's catch, we had it first goal to 9. We had 2 mental errors and a penalty. 3 straight plays, and that's not us, but it was us Saturday. And I think even the first drive, Wayne caught the little swing pass down there, and we just didn't execute, didn't do some things we were supposed to do that would give us a chance. And I think they blitzed us on the 3rd down. We were in a 5-man protection, and they didn't cover our tight end. We didn't have a chance to get it off, but got to go practice better, and get prepped for those. I think anytime you can run the football certainly helps you down there, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We didn't do it Saturday, so we're going to look at some things we're doing, especially red zone offensive, that we got to do better. And again, this is that group. You get opportunities down there. They don't let lots of people. They're a little bit like our defense. They don't let lots of people down there. When you do, you got to get touchdowns. And I really probably was the difference in the game last year. We got it in, and we held them to some field goals and some kicks.
Tyler, you were not a big part of the running game on Saturday. Was that by design? Was that by what ETSU was doing defensively? I mean, we're obviously more accustomed to seeing you doing things in the RPO and whatever the case is, but we didn't see that Saturday.
No, it wasn't by design. It's more what ETSU was doing. They always had somebody counting for me, whether it be a safety, a scraping linebacker when they gap exchange on the backside of a lot of the zone option plays we have. But I mean, no, they did it. They did a good job with that. We didn't call a lot of QB runs. Just wasn't in the game plan this week. Didn't feel like we needed it, and just they bottled it up and they prevented it. So props to them for that.
Tyler, you guys have, as an offense collectively, have done a really good job of taking care of the football. And tell me, this being your second year as a starter, when a play's not there and you really don't have the option to run it, how quickly do you know that I'm going to throw the ball away, or just not put it to a position to where it can be picked off, or and just speak to the way the running backs have taken care of the football and not really fumbled it much this year?
Yeah. Well, speaking on me first, I won't say probably. I haven't done a very good job of actually checking the ball down. I usually get the first read, second read, and take off run, and then I run around. Hopefully, I look downfield, somebody's there. If not, I throw it away. So I mean, there's a lot of, like Coach was saying, a lot of missed points, a lot of missed yards with that as well. If I check it down and throw it down to the running back a lot, they're usually wide open, and a lot of defense forget about them. And I mean, they especially do it against us because I never throw it to them. So that is something I do need to improve on with that, but. On the running backs, I mean, we work with that every day about ball security. They do it probably 2-3 drills a day about it, so they do a really good job with that. Coach Coda does a good job. They have a whole, bag full of tricks in there that they do, different kind of drills for them all. So it's good with that. But yeah, we do it every day. So I mean, it's instilled in our guys, and we haven't had. I don't know if we've had a fumble. I think they've all the turnovers have been picks on me, but if we fumble in practice, they make sure not to do it again for sure.
Xavier, you're 2 years here at Furman. You've been a part of a defensive line unit that, frankly, is a little bit rare in terms of having a lot of depth. Some of us have been around here for a number of years. Can remember we'd have a pretty good front line and not much behind it. But in your 2 years, you've been part of a unit that rotates. Your mindset, do you want to be a little selfish? Do you ever want to come off the field as a player? No, but with the guys behind you and perform real well, does that make a difference?
I think in high school I was selfish, but now I understand that I got about 4 plays in me where I can give it my all, and then the next guy's got 4 plays in them that are going to give it their all. So that rotate really helps us out, that we can be fresh the whole game. And then realistically, we have 1s, 2s, and we got 3s who can also play. We just haven't had the chance to really throw them in. So I think depth is a big part of how our D-line can play. So, yeah.
Xavier, is this a really good group of defensive players, the chemistry and where you thought you would be at this point, because you played outstanding so far all year long?
For sure. I think the way we connect on all 3 levels, DB, linebacker, D-line, is just we all work together and we all know what we got to do. And there's no hostility ever. We all know that if you mess up next play, like, we're all boys. I've never been part of a team where it's like that tight of a connection. We're all just on the same page at all times. I think that's helped us a lot this year.
Xavier, one of the more enjoyable aspects of watching the defense work that I've noticed is kind of like on offense where the line opens up holes for the running backs. On the blitz packages, sometimes it seems like you guys open up holes for the linebackers. And like the game-sealing sack the other day, it was like a pileup of trucks. And then Braden Gilby is the Ferrari that comes in underneath and skids down and gets the quarterback. Can you speak to open up those lanes for your linebackers to fill and get the quarterback?
Yeah, it's just part of doing your job. We at the D-line, we got to do things. Sometimes we'll get the sack, sometimes we won't. But I think it's important that, like, we just – every blitz, every package, every play we have, you're designed to do a specific job, and Coach Vaughn does a good job of keeping us on track, and that play was for Gilby to make. And we have a lot of plays like that. But we get our opportunity on the D-line, so we just got to take advantage of it.
Coach, Jeb Barton's basically blocked 6 field goal kicks and been a big part of this team. Everybody's called him the new Mutombo of college football. Who do you have behind him that's going to take his place? Because, you know, it's going to be hard to – I mean, you're known for having great special teams.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, we think we got some good young guys in that group, but I think part of that's just having it's a little bit of a want to and a knack, you know, and certainly I think when Jack's coming free, somebody's by him helping him, you know, because it's usually one guy's not coming free, you know, by himself. Sometimes that happens, but he's just got a good knack for that, you know, and certainly I think it's like anything that we've got to the point where we kind of expect to do it. I think a lot of people expect us to do it. Or a little run we got on last year, you know, later in the year. And it was later in the year, and maybe we're starting a trend here later in the year again. So, like I said, I would love to have gotten that in the punt the other day, which would have been a huge play for us there early in the game. But I don't know. Need to figure out who that next guy is.
Clay, you're 14-1 in your last 15 conference games. You've won 11 in a row and 7 in a row on the road. Do you think people really have any idea how difficult that is?
I don't think they do. I think I started realizing that. Like I said, you have high expectations. You know, credit our kids and our staff. You know, I think you take the road. I think the road so much is about focus. You know, but I do think there's something to be said when there's less of you and it's us and nobody else. And yeah, we're gonna have our core fans there, but we got to find a way to get it done. But that you know, those numbers get thrown out. I can remember back when I was a young coach here. You know, we had that run there in the first years I was coaching, and I kind of remember that. You know, just heck, you want to. Then the day you want to see if you keep it going. You know, and then having a chance certainly to play for a championship. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're shooting for, and got a chance to do that Saturday. You know, and rankings. I'd love to be there 3 weeks from now if we're in the same spot. We'll be in a really good spot. You know, that means we took care of business down the stretch. But no, I'm not sure people sometimes realize how challenging that is. And you know, you and I talked about that little analogy about having you. Some weeks you don't have your fastball, and yeah, I want our kids to be, bam, bam, bam every week. It's just not going to happen, and you got to find a way. Defense got it done for Saturday. You know, maybe it's a week the offense is going to have to get it done. I don't know, or make a big play in the kicking game. And I think we have a really good team. And I think that's kind of, I think it's just been the sign as much as anything. We just, it's complementary football and find a way to get it done. And, that's what we need to be able to do this week.
Coach, I don't know if this is different, but I know they Chattanooga had to replace, I think, 4 offensive linemen coming into the season. Do you find it different when you face a team, a lot of teams in this league, when they replace those guys that left last year, and that's an area they've been really strong and done a good job of really replacing guys with. Is it different when they replace those guys with FBS? high-level transfers as opposed to maybe bringing a guy up and kind of developing? What's the challenge for you in that
Well,
respect?
I think there's probably some positives for it. There's also probably some negatives. That group continuity is so much a part of it. Experience, been doing so, because that staff's kind of been together for a while. But all of a sudden you plug a new guy, he hadn't been there. And we haven't lived in that world very much. We feel like we filled in a guy here and there. But all those offensive linemen, for the most part, guys been in our program. So, certainly helps bring in talent. And we're all better coaches when we got talent. And I know they got a Florida kid at one tackle, and I really don't. I kind of looked. I don't really know because they've been. I think that group stayed healthy all year. When I've watched them, seems to we have kind of followed them a little bit this year. So I've watched them a little bit more. Bring the UCLA quarterback in. Certainly losing Ford, what a great player he was, and hate that for a guy in his career. But they've played a number of guys back there. So I don't. Like I said, it certainly helps to have talent, but I'm sure there's some challenges with it as well. But again, so much of that group is just continuity, but it's worked out well for them.
Tyler, you've got a very experienced receiving corps that you distributed the ball really in good fashion this year. You got your veterans and Kendall Dean, Joshua Harris, Luke Shiflett. Talk about the two young guys that have stepped up this year, Ben Ferguson and Colton Hinton. What are you seeing in them? And looks pretty good to us, but let's get quarterback's perspective on that.
Yeah, they're, as you see, they're very talented players. They're a little bit different. Colton's the speedy, quick guy where he can get open just about any kind of situation. Ben's a much more crafty guy where he he has a little bit more finesse to him, and he's very sure-handed. He'll catch anything. So trust him, and I trust Colton, and they've shown out. I mean, Colton's I don't know how much he weighs. Maybe can't be no more than 180, 185. But I mean, he gets around. He gets a jet sweep probably like once a game, and he puts his head down. And for some reason, he likes to jump, and he jumps almost every time he gets the ball, and he usually gets caught in the air, and it doesn't look good. But he continues does, and he pops right back up. I mean, he's shown that he's a tough player, and Ben's shown that he's Mr. Reliable anytime the ball's near him. So those two young guys have stepped up, and we needed them. And we'll continue to need them.
Well, it's another big game coming up on Saturday with Chattanooga, and Furman's been in a lot of big games here most recently. And for Tyler and for Xavier, how fun is this for you to be in a game that has this kind of importance?
Go ahead, X.
I mean, it doesn't get more exciting than this. Playing for a championship, and then really, I don't even, to be honest, a ring's a ring, but I want to go undefeated in the SoCon. That's what's more important to me. So I think it's just the next step. It's the next week, next game.
I'm very excited. I've never really won anything in my life, honestly, high school or my previous school. So it's very exciting. We didn't get it done last year. We slipped up, and it's frustrating. I couldn't help out a little bit more last year with it. And I mean, this year we have the opportunity to do it. So I mean, you're going to get all from me, and I'll make sure the rest of the offense is. You're going to get it all from them as well. So it'll be a fun game for us for sure, and they'll be a big test. So this will really see how we are as a team.
Coach, I've noticed on defense that you got guys like Gilby and Hugh Ryan who are kind of great players, but not boisterous or I don't know the right word, but then you have Matt Shoka who has fun, and then Jack Barton just seems nuts in a good way. But is it that whole mixture? Is that kind of good for a unit to have in terms of like the serious guys and the guys who keep things loose, and also all of them just go about their business in the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's interesting. We say kind of the no-name bunch. I was looking at the tackles in the conference the other day, and we don't have a lot of guys. And just like I noticed, we've got our 20 sacks are amongst 12 guys. I think we have like 20 guys with tackles for loss. And so, but they've bought into that, and we're just not going to have a guy that's just he's not going to be up there at the top of our league in tackles, but I think they bought into it's been a really good recipe for us, and again, it's just a little bit of a selfish, or lack of selfishness, just kind of the way they've approached it and handled it, and we got some guys, Evan DiMaggio stepped up last couple of weeks. Evan's been a really good player for us and been really productive. And then Austin stepped in a little bit of a new role, and man, how well he's played. You just keep needing some guys like that to do that. And again, credit Coach Vaughn and that whole defensive staff for what they've done, and even going back to Coach Bernardi and what he's done, those guys. And I just think that's a little bit of the nature of our team, which is a really fun group to be around, and been around some really good groups. There's just something unique about this group. Kind of the same group as last year, but even, most of those guys are back. And, like I said, I think it makes us a tough bunch to beat. I mean, we're going to win every game, but I think just the makeup of who we are, when things maybe don't go as well, they stick together, they play together, there's a lot of positivity there, and which gives us a chance to go be successful.
Tyler, when you think back to this game Chattanooga ordinarily has a really good defense, and I think last year the first play of the game was an interception, and you kind of had their defense on their heels a little bit because you take over. What was something particularly in the first half that you guys did really well offensively that's going to take that type of thing again on Saturday? Can you think back to that game?
I would probably say it was more of the whole game was QB run. I think we haven't shown that at all before that game last year, where it was actually like QB design, where they needed an extra hat to be sound and have an extra guy for me, because before that it was just all little scrambles here and there. But no, that was the game, and they haven't seen it on film, so they weren't prepared for it. I think that's where we really showed up and surprised them a little bit, and I think that's where we took advantage of them, because with a QB run, that means you have an extra hat, extra lead blocker now. So I don't think they were prepared for it. Obviously they'll be prepared for it this year. We've shown it a little bit this year, and obviously they know that's what hurt them last year. So we'll see what we can do.
Talk about this being a developmental program, and it is, obviously. And when you take a transfer, it has to be a right guy to fit a need because of everything that Furman's about, and you happen to have two of them sitting up there right now. And I'm just interested because we've talked to Tyler about this, but Xavier, when you were looking around, what was it that attracted you to Furman? What was it that made you want to come here and play football?
I had an offer at a high school, but I had never visited Furman. So once I entered the portal, I got on campus, and I really got to see some guys, and I really got to see the campus. And I think the school, along with the culture here, is really what attracts guys. And I think being in like a situation not knowing where I could go or where I was gonna have, when they offered me, I was like, yeah, I got to take this. It's too good of an opportunity not to have, and especially the portal, you don't know where you're going to go. And I think it was a great decision. I wouldn't have known how great it would be off that one visit, but, their staff, I've put on 40 pounds since I've been here. Didn't think I'd ever be this big and still move decently well, and just having great D-line coach, great coaches all around, and I think we should have an amazing family, amazing culture, which I think is what separates us from most places.
Coach, would you anticipate having Pierce Toomey back this week, and therefore Jake going back to guard, and also any feelings on Travis Blackshear's availability?
Yeah, Pearson practiced yesterday. Pearson, in fact, found me. I think Pearson was frustrated Saturday like the rest of us, and found me after the game. Coach, I'm playing next week. And so, he's got to go practice, but he practiced yesterday. And in fact, Mike said he had him over there doing running back drills. So, excited to have him back. That'll be the plan. We'll see. Travis was something he's been playing with, and we just kind of got to the point from a health and safety standpoint, it needed to be addressed, and we felt like we could. They have, and the plan is to have him too. He'll be a little more limited during the week than Pearson will be, but the plan is to have him back. And shoot, I thought those guys, Mike and Ivan, played their best game. They've been playing really well all year, and I think so. Charles Ingram was a guy who popped in there, hadn't played a whole lot, and seemed like he handled it pretty well. We've got some really good young guys in that group that we're kind of excited about too. But no, we hope to have all those guys back.
Well, that takes care of the questions from the assembled folks here, Coach. I'll just ask you to make a final statement before we close it out.
Well, no, again, appreciate you being here. Certainly huge challenge, huge opportunity this week. And, I cut on the tape last night of watching that game from a year ago. It was no TV copy. It was our video. There's no volume. And you could just see the intensity of that football game on both sides of the ball. And we were fortunate to get a win. Proud of our guys to do that. It'll be that kind of game again, I'm sure. Taking care of the football will be huge. And great in the special teams. Just I think build upon the things we've done, and certainly we know we'll get their best shot, and I certainly hope they get ours as well. So it should be great for our league. Maybe we can get it where people can watch it on TV this week. So if you can't be there, but I think we'll have a great crowd there, and certainly again be a great opportunity for our football team. But we'll certainly have our work cut out for us.
Well, whether they can or can't, they'll be able to listen to it
Dan
on the
Scott,
radio.
that's right.
So, thank you, Head Coach Clay Hendricks and Tyler Huff, Xavier Stevens for joining us. I'll just remind you that kickoff in Chattanooga is at 1:30. You'll be able to watch it, we hope, on ESPN+. If you need the radio, we've got you covered with the Pepsi Countdown to Kickoff at noon. And that's on 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 in Spartanburg, the Fan Upstate, and at Odyssey.com. Look forward to having you with us on Saturday. Big matchup, and hopefully a bunch of our fans can make it down there. That will take care of this week's edition of Furman Football Weekly with Head Coach Clay Hendricks. For the coach, for Tyler and Xavier, and all of us at Furman, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you. So long, everybody. This has been a Hunter Reed, Jeff Schetzel production.